Hello, this is Bob Gray Sr. Welcome to Ministry Moments. Lord willing, every Friday at 3 o'clock Central Time, we'll come with Ministry Moments. And it's not long, but I think the points are very practical and very helpful. And that's the purpose of this Ministry Moments. And you can subscribe, and I would suggest that you do that, because when you subscribe, what happens is you automatically receive this every Friday at 3 o'clock Central Time, and it'll come to you just like that. And so I think it's to your benefit. Oh, by the way, you can go to solvechurchproblems.com and subscribe there. And I have ministry ideas every day. I have sermons going back. We started back in 1980 when I first came to Texas, Longview Baptist Temple, and those are early sermons. My voice is a little higher, but the truths are still the same. So that's interesting. And you'll see quotes, and you'll see a Q&A with almost 3,000 questions with answers. And if you have a question, send it to me, and I'll do my best to try to answer the question that you have. Well, welcome to Ministry Moments. You'll see behind me, Fortify 2020. This is our first national meeting for Independent Baptist Online College, IBOC, September the 20th through the 23rd. And I want to encourage you to come to Mansfield, Ohio, and come to the People's Baptist Church. Pastor Spencer is the pastor. Dr. Jeff Smith is the president of our college, and he'll be emceeing the meeting. And we're excited about it. Look forward to seeing you. I want to meet you. By the way, my new book, brand new book that's out, The Lost Commandment, I'm going to give to you if you'll come to that conference, absolutely free. You come to the conference, I'll make sure that you receive it. Well, welcome to Ministry Moments. And get your pen out, get ready to write, so that you'll be interested in this one today. I want to talk to you about raising a miracle offering, a miracle offering. When I went to Longview Baptist Temple in 1980, August of 1980, they had a bonding program, a building campaign with the issuance of bonds. And so every spring and every fall, the people who had bonds every 6 months or a year would turn them in, and they'd receive their principal plus interest. And so when I went to Longview Baptist Temple, I don't know why they didn't like me, but we had a split. That's what we had. And the finances were short, we were hurt, and we were doing our best to stay afloat. And so I knew those bonds were coming due in the spring and in the fall. And when I went to pastor school in 1981, the church split. While I was gone, they started church across town. By the way, that church doesn't exist now. It's gone belly up. And the World Council of Churches owns that property now. And you don't start an anti-preacher church, expect God to bless. God's not going to bless that. Anyway, I had to come up with a plan to make sure those bonds were paid. And so we did. We came up with what we brainstormed. We came up with what we called a give it all offering. And so we had we had two a year. You better thank God I wasn't your pastor. Yeah. Two a year, the spring and then the fall. And we would use that money to make sure that the bonds were paid off. Our general fund was not meeting the need. So we had to do something. So after meeting with the deacons and discussing it, we came up with a give it all in that spring, and then another in that fall. Now we did that for several years in order to be able to make sure that the bonds were paid for. And then I got the idea, why don't we just pay them all off, call them in. We had that ability to do so. And then that way we could get that paid off and get it behind us and save us all kinds of interest in the future. So I met with the deacons. We came up with a plan, and we raised, this is hard to believe, but it's true. We raised $200,000. Absolutely an amazing offering, just absolutely amazing. And we had a bond burning. I have several pictures of that night. It was a lot of fun, taking those bonds and going out and burning them. We paid off that bonding program. Now, that's where I got the idea to teach at the Soul Winning Clinic others about raising miracle offerings. I had a dear friend in California. He raised $2 million for a building project. And so independent, fundamental, premillennial, temperamental Baptist church, a Hyles Anderson graduate, just a solid man and a great church. Now, I want to give you the thoughts about raising a miracle offering. And I think this is very practical and very helpful for you, because sooner or later, you're going to have a time where okay, Russell Anderson, my dear friend, said to me, you make a living from 8 to 5, you make a success from 5 to 8. Now, I took that, I converted it. I said, a church can survive on offering plate money, but it'll succeed on above offering plate money. And I kind of used that as a model. And so I try to come up here with a model that we taught others about of this thing of a miracle offering. Okay, are you ready? Are you ready? Get your pen out, write it down. Number one, there must be a need. There must be a need. Is it a parking lot? Whatever it might be. You have to renovate the buildings, or air conditioners are going down. You got to, and boy, are they expensive. And I don't know how many we had, some 20 air conditioners, and it's just a mammoth thing. Or maybe, like we did one time, we raised money and bought 20 buses at one time. Ours were they were getting older. We had to do something, so we used a miracle offering to do that. But I say this because it's very important. There must be a need. Now, if the people can see that need, and it's obvious to them, and you bring a solution to that need, some physical need that you have around the properties or whatever it might be, then they will respond to that. Number two, you can only, sounds a little bit different, but you can only pay for a dead horse once. You can only pay for a dead horse once. You say, what do you mean by that? I mean, you get in debt, and then you raise money to get out of debt. Then you get in debt, raise money to get out of debt. That is not going to fly. There's got to be progress. There's got to be a movement of facilities being brought up to par, or like I said about a parking lot, striping the parking lot, building a building, buying buses, fixing air conditioners. There's just, you cannot pay for past debts over and over again and expect the people to respond. They're not going to do it. Now, we had give-it-alls for all the years, 3 decades that I was there, and people gave. And it was amazing, because it was just, we would use it to buy buses. We'd use it to build buildings. We would use it for all kinds of things that our people saw was in need. So number one, there must be a need. I'm talking about raising a miracle offering, an offering that an amount you've never been able to raise or come close to before. Number one, there must be a need. Number two, you can only pay for a dead horse once. You can't pass bills. You can only do that 1 or 2 times. So that's all you're going to be able to do it for. Number three, God's people must see the need. There must be a need. Something physical that needs to be built or bought or whatever it might be. Number three, God's people must see the need. If they don't see the need, they're not going to give. All right. Number four, brainstorm a campaign theme with a Bible verse. Brainstorm a campaign theme with a Bible verse. Get your deacons together, and you get your staff together, volunteer and paid, and get them together and just brainstorm it. But come up with a campaign theme and come up with a Bible verse to sustain that theme. All right, so number one, there must be a need. Number two, you can only pay for past bills once or twice. That's about it. And so you want to get that budget under control and matching that budget under control. Number three, God's people must see the need. If they see the need, they will respond to your leadership. Number four, brainstorm a campaign theme and a Bible verse to back up what you're doing. Number five, promote 6 to 8 weeks ahead of time. Promote 6 to 8 weeks ahead of time. When you promote 6 to 8 weeks ahead of time, set a date and then promote that. Pass out cards, get people to commit themselves, and so on and so forth, and pray for God to come through on that day. But it takes time. You've got to teach on it. You've got to push it. You've got to remind people. And so very, very important that you have a date set and you have time to be able to teach and to preach on it and help the people to get on board. Number one, there must be a need. Number two, you can only pay for past bills once in a while. You can't do that all the time. That's why you got to get that thing under control. That just proves your leadership if you get the thing under control. Number three, God's people must see the need. You may see it. The deacons may see it. But if the people don't see it, they're not going to respond to it. Next, brainstorm a campaign theme and a Bible verse. Number five, promote 6 to 8 weeks in advance. Number six, I love this. Some people don't do this. I love doing this. Decorate. You put up a banner. You put up decorations on the walls. Decorate each class or each Sunday school class. Each department is involved. Each bus route's involved. Each bus division is involved. All of that. So you want to decorate. Again, my wife would laugh. She'd say to people when they walk in the auditorium, the decorations are up. She'd say, "Uh-oh, he wants money." I think that's real funny, and she was right. But decorate. All right, there'll be more people in hell for lack of cash than because people who cuss. Cash is the problem, and if you'll do it right and lead them by example and exhort them to do it, you'll see that people will respond to it if it's a legitimate need. All right. So number one, there must be a need. Number two, you can only pay for past bills once in a while. Well, once or twice, but you can't do any more than that. You get that thing under control. It looks bad when you don't. Number three, God's people must see the need. Number four, brainstorm a campaign theme supported by a Bible verse. Number five, promote 6 to 8 weeks in advance. Number six, decorate. Everywhere they turn around, look, they ought to see it right in front of them. Decorate. Number seven, pastor should commit first. I, and Mrs. Gray and myself, would sit down and we would bow our heads and say, Lord, what can we give? What would you want us to give? Maybe not necessarily what we can give, but stepping out by faith. And we averaged $2,000 to $3,000 every time there was a give it all, depending on what God told us. But we did it. Did I have it? No, I didn't have it. But I'll tell you what, God came through because I stepped out by faith. Now, you got to be disciplined about it because you get an extra $100 committed you weren't expecting. Okay, set that aside. Something comes through the mail. Oh, we'd have people give testimonies, and they'd testify how God came through at the last minute where they were able to give their give it all commitment. All right, so number one, there must be a need. Number two, you can only pay for a dead horse once. You can't do it a second, third time. Get a hold of those bills in that budget of yours. Number three, God's people must see the need. Number four, brainstorm a campaign theme with a Bible verse supporting it. Number five, promote 6 to 8 weeks in advance. Have the day on the decorations up there on such and such a day. That's our Give It All Sunday, so that everybody knows. And then you got 6 to 8 weeks to prepare people for it. Number six, decorate that auditorium, decorate those Sunday school classes. And by the way, pet peeve of mine, take it down after it's over. Sometimes I drive by and I see a church sign promoting something that happened 3 weeks ago. Don't do that. You decorate, but you take it down. Number seven, pastor should commit first. I always committed first. Mrs. Gray and I always committed first. Number eight, deacons pledge themselves second. So what did I do? I said, fellas, this is what I'm going to give towards this, and I'm going to do it. And fellas, I need for each of you to commit. And we had 33 deacons when I retired, and they all were faithful men and give, and they sacrificed, and we just prayed it down, and God gave it to us. So deacons would go second. So the pastor, go first. You sign up on that card that you print thousands of them now, and you sign that thing, what you're going to give, commit to that day by faith, trusting God will give it to you. Then the deacons second. Number nine, Sunday school teachers and workers. So what I would do, I would first, Ms. Gray and I would commit. Then the deacons would commit. Then I would go to the teachers and workers meeting on Wednesday night before the Wednesday night Bible study, and I pass out the cards and say, look, I need commitments from you. I need so many people to give $1,000. I need so many people to give $500. I need so many people to give $250, and I would give them options $100 on up to $2,000, $3,000, depending on the campaign. Now, so then the Sunday school teachers and workers, I'd hand cards out to them. They would fill it out. and we would collect it, and we'd have it added up. We'd add up what I was giving, what the staff and deacons were giving, then what the volunteer staff, Sunday school teachers, so on, were giving. And then I would go down, after I got that total, I would go down then to the Bible study crowd. And I would go out, and the decorations are up there. They know it's coming. And I've been talking about it and been pushing it. And this is a great need. We've got to do this. We've got to do this. Then what would happen, I'd pass out the cards. We would total those up. And then if I was short, I would come back and say, look, I need about 5 more people to get $1,000. We can do this now, but we've got to hit this goal. And I would make sure that we hit the commitment part of that goal before we went on from there. Okay? So you don't want to do something that's ridiculous, but you want to do something that's by faith is going to stretch you. It's going to stretch you. Now that bonding thing was heavy on me. I inherited it. I didn't create it, but I knew I had to get rid of it. I knew that. And so I stuck my neck out. The staff stuck their neck out. The deacons stuck their neck out. Then the Sunday school teachers and workers in that meeting, a teachers and workers meeting on Wednesday night, they stuck their neck out. And then I went downstairs and I said, okay, whatever it was, I'm $20,000 short. This is what I'm doing. This is what the staff's doing. This is what the deacons are doing. And Sunday school teachers are doing. Now I'm coming to you. I've got to have your help. And so then I would pass out the cards, and I would be afraid of saying who by faith will trust God for give $1,000. I wouldn't bother me at all to do it, not at all. I learned a long time ago when the bills aren't paid, they don't call the church members, they call the pastor. So I decided to put the heat on them before they'd call me. All right, we're talking about a miracle offering now. Our big one was $200,000. We paid off our bonds with that offering. So I know that it works. I know that it works. And in the turmoil of rebuilding and winning souls, and we'd already had our split and so on, God blessed in a great way. But here's the thought. Number one, there must be a need. Number two, you can only pay for past bills once in a while. You can't get away with it, and get that thing under control. Number three, God's people must see the need. They've got to see it themselves. Then next, brainstorm a campaign theme and Bible verse. Brainstorm it. Next, promote 6 to 8 weeks before the big day, before the Give It All Sunday. Promote 6 to 8 weeks. Have plenty of time for them to think about it, pray about it, beg God for it, and so on. But commitment comes first, and then the prayer and the challenge and challenging God to come through. All right. Then decorate. And when they walk in, they'll see it everywhere. Decorate. I love decorations. Next, pastor should commit first. Pastor and staff. So the pastor commits, pastor and staff commits. Then next, the deacons commit. And then Sunday school teachers and workers commit. And then we go downstairs. We finished our Wednesday night teachers and workers meeting. We go downstairs to the Bible study congregation, and we pass out the cards all over again. And I would say by then I knew the financial people had tallied it all up, and I knew exactly how short I was, what I needed. And I would sometimes say, look, I need 5 people to give $1,000. I need 2 people to give $2,000, whatever it might be. And all the people responded. And all those years, we never, listen to this now, in 3 decades, we never missed our goal. We never missed our goal. Why? Because it was a legitimate need. The people saw it. I led by example, and the staff led by example. We exhorted people. It was a big, big deal. But we made it. We hit that goal every time. Now, I'm just saying to you that you can't do this for past bills all the time. You can't do that. We bought buses with it. We built buildings with it. We took care of the parking lot with it. I bought machinery to stripe the parking lot, so that it would cost me $4,000 to $5,000 to stripe that parking lot. Well, I bought the equipment. I bought equipment for doing the cement work. I brought a dump truck. I bought a front end loader. I bought a lot of things that saved us money in the long run. What a blessing in the long. Well, here you go, Ministry Moments. Thank you for being a part of it. Salt this one away, because sooner or later you're gonna need this one, and I promise you it'll be a blessing. You'll be prepared, and you'll have time of preparation here. Well, God bless you. Ministry Moments every Friday, 3 o'clock Central Time, and this coming weekend now, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 4 to 5, 2020. Mansfield, Ohio, People's Baptist Church. Brother Spencer's the pastor. You join us, and we'll have a great time. Our first graduation, it's hard to believe that, just under 1,500 students, and we have our first graduation at this conference. I tell you, I'm excited about it. I am really excited. And we're adding faculty members all the time. And we've got the education program. But you, elementary or secondary, we got it. God has blessed us. We've got the faculty that can help you. Whatever it might be, let us help you. Check it out, ibaptistcollege.org. Just check it out. Just check it out and see if we can't be a blessing to you. Well, soul winning tomorrow. Let's win some folks to Christ and get them down the aisle. And I'll see you next week at Mansfield, Ohio, Fortify 2020. Join us. We'll have a great time. God bless you.